Welcome to the Numbers Game, the show where analytics meets the action and data drives the decisions. I'm Cynthia Frelund, and I'm literally coming to you from over in the corner here, right on the field in Indianapolis at the NFL Scouting Combine. Interestingly enough, if you hear clapping or if you hear cheering, it's not for me, it's for the 40. It's going on just behind my computer, and my computer is actually sitting on the bench press where people put up 225 a whole bunch of times. Now, we will go over, it is technically day 3, but we're going to go over day 2 right now, which means defensive backs and tight ends. All of their drills and measurements are complete, and I have 7 takeaways from day 2. Takeaway number 1. So let's start with the corners. Both Travis Hunter out of Colorado and Will Johnson out of Michigan, they are my top-rated guys, and they did not participate in any of the drills. Let's have the Travis Hunter conversation right now, because he'll also be considered a wide receiver, and those are day 3 guys. As expected in interviews all across Indianapolis with teams this week, he was asked the question, where do you want to play? And he said, wherever you want me to play. I actually do kind of believe him because he seems to be one of the players that I think loves football more than anyone I've ever spoken to. However, I think some teams see him as a corner with a few packages on offense or vice versa. Let's just do the reminder here. He played 112 snaps per game. That was his average. That is bananas. That's closer to 3 times the average. Most guys are like in the 40s who are either wide receivers or defensive backs, but this guy's like somewhere near 3 times that, which is crazy. So let's start with where he measured in. Hunter is 6 feet and 3/8 of an inch tall, 188 pounds. And if you want to comp him by size, he's like Marshawn Lattimore. If you look at corners, and if you want to look at wide receivers, he's kind of like Chris Olave. As for the computer vision metrics on Travis Hunter, it shows that he had an exceptional fatigue avoidance metric. This means he didn't lose steam at least an 80 percentile rate. So fourth quarter versus first quarter in terms of speed, change of direction, all of those things, 80th percentile, and he's playing 3 times the snaps. And that's over a 15 season sample size. So that's pretty crazy. Now, if you're asking me what he should do, I think he should play wherever he has the most fun. But if I were his agent and we were talking about where to optimize his opportunities, like career-wise, I have him rated as having a slightly better upside as a wide receiver, largely because his body control and ability to adjust to throws is in the 87th percentile, and that's the second highest of the combine group when you track their college data, which means scarcity, which means he's a little bit more unique as a wide receiver than potentially as a defensive back. But again, he's both, so interesting. Point 2, 9 defensive backs ran a sub 4.4 40-yard dash. That's the 4th most at a single combine since 2003. Now, this is super interesting because the highest number ever was 16 defensive backs, and that was in 2022. But last year we had 8. The year before that we had 7. Maybe that means next year we have 10. I don't know. Interesting. Of the 9 defensive backs this year, 7 of the sub 4.4 40-yard dash times came from Group 4. That's the corners. 2 of them came from Group 5, which are the safeties. The fastest corner was prospect Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky, who weighed in at 183 pounds and stands 5'1" which is again our scout speak for 5 feet 11 1/4 inches. By the way, there are only 6 guys to have gone through the combine so far who weigh under 185 pounds. Harrison was comped on our NFL Network broadcast to Denzel Ward if you're looking at size and physical combine production traits. So Ward, he was also 183 pounds, and actually Harrison ran just a titch faster than him, and Ward again, it was in 2018. The fastest safety prospect was Marquez Sigel from Kansas State, who ran a 4.37 at 5'1" and 199 pounds. Point 3, the safety who unquestionably had the best workout was Nick Imanwari from South Carolina, who ran a 4.38 40, had a 43-inch vert, which led the day, and had the day's best broad jump at 11 feet 6 inches. And he did all of this as the heaviest safety at 220 pounds. Something good just happened. We'll get to that tomorrow. He's 6 feet 3 and 1/8 inch tall. Body-wise, like size and composition-wise, his comp is DK Metcalf. And Imanwari joined DK as the only player to the combine since 2003 to be at least 3 foot 6 inches tall, run a sub 4.4 40-yard dash, have an over 40-inch vertical, and have an over 11-foot broad jump. Imanwari also joined Tariq Woolen as the only defensive players at the combine, again since 2003, to be 6'3" or taller, run a sub 4.4 40-yard dash, and have a 40-inch vertical. Point 4. As for the corners, Jahdae Barron from Texas had a great day. He ran a 4.3940, hit a 35-inch vert, a 10-foot 3-inch broad jump, and he's 5'10" and 6/8 of an inch. He's also 194 pounds. He's almost exactly the same size as the Chiefs' all-pro corner Trent McDuffie, who ran a slightly slower 40-yard dash at his combine in 2022 at 4.44 seconds. And he's also half an inch taller than Jair Alexander, but has about the same combine results as the Packers' two-time Pro Bowler, who we heard may be on the trading block for Green Bay. Computer vision also showed that Barron's body control rated higher than Alexander based on college film from Jaw at Louisville, and was just a touch under McDuffie's in his Washington film. Point 5. As for the tight ends, both of my top two selections, Tyler Warren and Colton Loveland, they didn't participate in the athletic drills. Penn State's Warren measured in at 6'5.5" and 256 pounds, while Loveland clocked in at 6'5 3/4", 248 pounds, and he's looking to become the first tight end selected in the first round from the University of Michigan since at least 1967. Point 6. I want to bring up Robbie Oates from Alabama. He was the heaviest of the tight ends at 274 pounds. And by the way, he ran the slowest 44.91. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, and he also played fullback, a 6 foot 3 inch fullback. Oh, I love this. I love this idea. And also, if placed on the right team, he could be a really interesting counterbalance to some of the things defenses are doing. He could help with O-lines that need a little something extra. A 6 foot 3 inch fullback. I think this is great, and I think there's a lot of upside, especially for the right team. Note 7. Of course, it's my opinion pick for who I'd want to get a beer with. This is the hardest day to pick just one because the defensive backs and tight ends are very different types of people. So there was a tight end that had incredible hair. His name is Gavin Bartholomew. He comes from Pittsburgh. He also seemed very fun. Malachi Starks out of Georgia had a nice workout. He ran a 4.540, and he's just under 6 foot 1 inch tall, and he's 197 pounds. But I'm going to go back to the well here with Jahdae Barron. The Longhorn was hugging my colleague, Stacey Dales, who was doing push-ups, praying. He was doing a lot of fun stuff, but I really liked that he was the first person to congratulate his teammates on their good performances. And by teammates, I mean not just his Texas teammates, but the other guys he's here with. And it seemed like he was saying very funny stuff as they were waiting to do their drills. Remember, my point here is to help point out the stuff I'm fortunate enough to be able to observe as I stand on the field. This event can be a little weird because it's kind of like having frenemies. This week, they are all in it together. Their game film is done, but tiny refinements do happen here. So the guys who have the best personalities, they stand out in such a positive way. For example, I actually am observing someone picking up the water bottles after. If you're looking to make a team and you are maybe not the most highly touted prospect, these little things make a huge difference. So my beer guy, sure, I may be picking a guy who is in the top tier right now, but we'll go through and I'll tell you everything I've heard of all the behind the scenes stuff because it is wonderful. And then you can see who some of these guys on our team in a little bit more depth happen to be. Don't worry, I'm still on it as to figuring out who Interview Suit Guy is. I think I have some ideas, but I also heard that he didn't wear a suit for every team. Interesting note. Maybe that is telegraphing where he wants to. Anyways, on to day 3. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for coming in this corner and letting me whisper at you. I'll be back here tomorrow with an update on what's going on with these running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks. Their results are already starting to come in, well, at least the running backs. And if you like this show, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and pass it along so we can continue to grow. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you one sneak peek because it just happened. This is the fastest crop of running backs in terms of an average 40 time that we've had ever.